You're gonna see that in one-on-ones, and it should hit. It should hit. Yeah, let's get it. Told you.
Before we dive in, if you're new here, welcome to Detroit Scope. We are so close to a huge milestone, we can practically taste it. We're chasing our first 1,000 subscribers, and a massive thank you to the 100 of you who have already hit that subscribe button and helped us get this thing off the ground. If you want to be part of the next 900, now is the perfect time to join us because Lions training camp is officially here, and day one already delivered enough drama for an entire week. Let's set the scene. Last year, this team rolled into camp fresh off a 15-2 season and an appearance in the NFC Championship game. And honestly, the energy around the building felt strange. It almost felt like the pressure of being that good made everybody a little too comfortable, a little too tight. Then the season took some unexpected hits, and this team got rattled in ways nobody saw coming. But walking into camp this year, something is different. There's a new hunger in the building. This isn't a team resting on last year's success. This is a team that got humbled a little bit, brought in some new faces, and is walking back onto that practice field with a fresh start mentality. And if day one is any indication, that mentality is already paying off in some fascinating ways. Let's start with the biggest bombshell of the entire day. Jahmyr Gibbs was a no-show. That's right, Detroit's electric, all-pro caliber running back was nowhere to be found on the practice field for day one of training camp, and speculation is already running wild about why. The team has stayed quiet on it publicly, but the whispers are pointing toward a contract situation, with Gibbs reportedly looking for a new deal that reflects just how valuable he's become to this offense. Whatever the reason, his absence created one of the most interesting subplots of the entire day, because it forced the coaching staff to show their hand on who they actually trust behind him. And here's where things get spicy. When the team first jogged out for walk throughs, it looked like Isaiah Pacheco, yes, the Super Bowl champion running back, was going to slide right into the starting role in Gibbs' absence. Made sense, right? The guy has a ring. He's explosive. He runs with legitimate violence. And on paper, he looks like exactly the kind of bruising backup you want. But then something happened once things ramped up into full team drills. When the offense shifted into 11-on-11 work, it wasn't Pacheco who trotted out with the first team. It was Sione Vaki. Let that sink in for a second because this is a genuinely stunning development. Vaki stonewalled a blitzing defender in pass protection, looked completely comfortable handling premium reps with the starting offense. And by the time the dust settled on day one, the pecking order in that backfield looked like Gibbs, then Vaki, ahead of a literal Super Bowl champion. Remember, Detroit traded up significantly to get Vaki back in the 4th round, giving up multiple picks, including a future selection, just to secure him. And through injuries and a crowded backfield last season, we genuinely didn't know what we had in this kid. Well, day one gave us a very loud answer. In college, this guy averaged an absurd 7.5 yards per carry. And in his best stretch, he was racking up nearly 10 yards every time he touched the football. Dan Campbell has been dropping hints about him since OTAs, basically telling everyone, don't sleep on this guy. And it looks like the coaching staff is putting its money where its mouth is. Now let's move to the offensive line, because there's a changing of the guard happening at right tackle, and it might be the cleanest, most decisive storyline of the entire day. Remember, this competition was supposed to be a genuine battle between rookie first-round pick Blake Miller out of Clemson and veteran free agent addition Larry Borom, who brings real starting experience from his time with the Bears and Dolphins. On paper, this looked like it could drag out for weeks. Instead, Miller took every single first-team rep at right tackle on day one. Every single one. Meanwhile, Borom found himself working almost exclusively with the second team, and even took reps as basically a 6th offensive lineman rather than a true starter. Now, it is still just one practice, and anyone will tell you it's far too early to hand Miller the job outright. Borom could easily open up tomorrow's practice with the ones. But when you stack this against everything we saw from this offensive line during the Taylor Decker era, where injuries constantly left this team scrambling and guessing what they'd get on a given Sunday, the early returns here are night and day. A solid, experienced veteran paired with a talented, ready-to-go rookie is about as good a problem as you could ask for at that position. Speaking of the offensive line, there's chaos brewing at left guard too, and it's honestly one of the more entertaining subplots of camp. With both Christian Mahogany and Ben Barch banged up or unavailable, the door swung wide open, and Juice Scruggs stepped through it, handling the overwhelming majority of first-team reps at the position. Remember, Scruggs came over in the trade that sent away one of Detroit's running backs, and there was a real question mark hanging over him. Is this guy actually good, or is he just camp filler? Early word out of Allen Park suggests he's a legitimate, quality depth piece who can genuinely hold his own in a starting role if called upon. And right behind him, rookie Miles Frazier got extensive run at left guard as well, soaking up valuable reps while the veterans nurse their way back to health. Bottom line, Detroit needs at least two of this four-man group, Mahogany, Barch, Scruggs, and Frazier, to step up in a real way this season, and day one gave some genuinely encouraging signs that this competition is deeper than people expected. Now let's talk about the show-stopping talent on this roster, because if you thought the storylines were just about backups and depth charts, think again. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Sam Laporta, all out there together, running routes for Jared Goff, and by every account, it was an absolute spectacle to watch. Think about the timeline here for a second. These are players who mostly arrived together starting back in that legendary 2021 draft class. And now they're entering years 2, 3, 4, and 5 of their careers, fully developed, fully in sync, and fully terrifying for opposing defenses. Watching this specific group operate together on the same field, even in a padless training camp setting, is the kind of thing that makes you remember exactly why this offense has been one of the most explosive units in football. And now, for the drama. Kirby Joseph. If you've been anywhere near Lions social media over the past 24 hours, you already know exactly where this is going. Joseph took to Instagram with a fiery little rant, essentially telling everyone that they don't know anything about him or his situation. The only issue? Everybody absolutely does know what's going on. His knee injury has been well documented, down to specific details about missing cartilage, with doctors publicly weighing in on the exact nature of the issue. And to make matters even more awkward, Joseph reportedly told people he wouldn't end up on the physically unable to perform list. Well, he's on it. It's not that anyone thinks this is some catastrophic, career-altering situation, but the disconnect between the public rant and the very public reality is exactly the kind of subplot that get a fan base buzzing, for better or worse. Sometimes the best move is just to stay quiet, put your head down, do the rehab, and let your play do the talking when you get back on the field. With Joseph sidelined, along with a few other key names in the secondary unavailable on day one, we got a genuinely useful glimpse into the depth chart. Veterans of Vonnie Maddox and Chuck Clark stepped in as the starting safety duo, and honestly, if injuries linger or complications arise, there are worse fallback options than these two. It's not the ideal scenario, but it is a perfectly serviceable one, and that's exactly the kind of insurance policy a contending team needs heading into a long season. One more storyline worth flagging before we wrap this up. Jackson Meeks. This is a converted wide receiver who's being transitioned into a tight end role, and Sam Laporta himself has already been talking to him about what that shift really means. It's not going to be glamorous. It's not always going to be fun. There's a whole lot of dirty, physical, unsexy work that comes with playing tight end in Dan Campbell's system, and Laporta is basically serving as a mentor here, prepping Meeks for exactly what's coming. Definitely a name to keep tabs on as camp rolls forward, because a versatile, athletic body that can line up at tight end gives this offense even more flexibility to create matchup nightmares. So, after just one single practice, we've already got a missing superstar running back stirring up contract speculation, a backup running back suddenly looking like QB1 in the pecking order over a literal Super Bowl champion, a rookie tackle seizing control of a starting job almost immediately, a left guard competition that's deeper and more interesting than anyone expected, a receiving core that looks absolutely stacked and terrifying, and a safety who might want to consider putting the phone down for a little while. This is only day one, folks. The pads haven't even gone on yet. If this is the appetizer, just imagine what the rest of camp is going to look like. This team is done being rattled. This team is done feeling weird about its own success. The energy is back, the swagger is back, and honestly, it feels like everyone in Allen Park is just ready to go play some football again. Ready to line up against the Bears. Ready to get another shot at the Vikings after dropping both matchups last year. And with a Packers game circled at the very end of the season, yes, we will be there in person for that one at Lambeau. So let us know in the comments if you're planning on catching any games this year too. If you enjoyed this breakdown, do us a huge favor and smash that like button. Drop a comment letting us know which storyline has you the most fired up heading into camp. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. We are so close to 1,000 subscribers, and every single one of you helps us keep bringing you this coverage all season long. Thank you again to the 100 of you already riding with us. Let's keep this thing rolling. We'll see you in the next one.